Hello, and welcome back to Misty Morrison Podcast. I'm your host, Misty Morrison, and this is episode 80 of Was I in the Wrong? Here on the Misty Morrison Podcast, we like to read or listen, we like to give advice, we like to help people look back on their situations with that 2020 vision to see how they could have handled the situation more gracefully. Before we get into our stories for the day, our usual housekeeping, whether you are new or returning, please remember to engage with the content to help the channel grow. Every little bit of online engagement is free and can help build the dream. Subscriptions are the biggest thing to help out. So wherever you're listening, whether it's podcast, YouTube, please subscribe for more. Leave a comment with your thoughts on stories. I love it when you guys comment. Share it with a friend if you liked it. Spread the love. And wherever you're listening, give it a like, a heart, a thumbs up, all the things. On YouTube, hit the bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video. And on podcast, please leave a 5-star review. I did not do that in my normal order and it completely threw me off, but I think I got everything. Okay, into our stories for the day. Story number 1 is coming to us from r/AITH. AITA, the asshole, for wanting more help with the house. Immediately no. I, 25 female, have been married to my husband, 27 male, for 2 years. At the beginning of our marriage, we were both working full-time. When the project he was working on ended, he couldn't find another job because no one was hiring at the time. We decided together that he would join the Army, and that's what he did. He went to BCT, I believe that means basic training, and AIT, don't know what that means. And I stayed alone in the state we were living in for 6 months. During that time, I continued working and paying all of our bills except the rent because we were receiving BAH. I didn't think it was fair for me to pay the rent when BAH was only available because of me. He came back home and the Army moved us to the Midwest. We had been living on the East Coast. I had to quit my job to follow him. That was about a year ago. I recently found a job and I'm going to start in a few weeks. But because I didn't know how long it would take to get hired, I decided to go back to school and start my postgraduate so I could specialize in my field. Before making that decision, I talked to him and explained that I would need his help with the house tasks because I would have to focus on school. Since English isn't my first language, I knew it would be much more challenging for me. He agreed and said he would help. I started my program at the beginning of June, but he hasn't helped at all. I have to ask him over and over before he even starts thinking about doing something around the house. Eventually, I get frustrated and end up doing everything myself. I'm completely exhausted. Studying in English, participating in discussions, writing, working, and taking care of all the household responsibilities has been overwhelming, and I feel like I'm on the verge of burning out. During this time, I've also developed anxiety, and it started to affect my health. Today, he came home for lunch, and I told him how exhausted I was. I asked him to be honest with me because I was tired of hearing, "I'll take care of it when I get home from work," only for nothing to get done. He finally admitted that he doesn't want to do the task because he's tired and needs to practice Yu-Gi-Oh! For a tournament in Minnesota that's coming up in 2 weeks. And also, he's spending around $1,000 for this. The money we do not have, and we also have around $7,000 in debt. I'm tired of constantly feeling like I'm being replaced by Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever else happens to be his priority. It feels like everything comes before me and before our family. I don't think I'm asking for anything unreasonable. I feel like I'm asking for the bare minimum, and even that seems to be too much. So am I the asshole for wanting more help with the house? Oh, honey. The fact that you are even here asking makes me sad. No, you are so right. At the end, you said it feels like everything comes before you and before your family. Does this family include children? Because you did not mention any children. If it is just the two of you, now is the time, before kids are involved, hopefully, to reevaluate things. There's so much wrong here. Hello again. It is the next day. I don't know where I left off. I had to quit recording really quick yesterday. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! The fact that it's a damn video game is what really irks me more than anything. Let me recap. Let me recap what we went over here, just for myself. Okay, the question is AITA for wanting more help with the house. No, of course not. Absolutely not. You are not the asshole. You are absolutely right. You are not his priority at all. He is his own priority. If you were his priority, you would not be in this situation. I really feel for you because I know where you're at. About like the part where you're like, he's this video game tournament is going to cost $1,000 and you guys are $7,000 in debt. That part doesn't bother me because I feel like you can be working towards paying off your debt while also still taking a little bit out here and there to do the things you enjoy. I think that part doesn't bother me. That's fair. But the part is you laid out the expectation, you asked for what you needed before you got into this. You said, I want to start school, but when I'm in school, it's going to be a lot on me. I'm going to need help. Will you help me? And he agreed. He said, yes, that is why you're in school, because you thought you had a partner who's willing to be your partner in this whole life experience, that he was going to help. And now you're working and doing school, and he's just consistently failed you. He has failed to be the partner that you asked for, he agreed to be, and you expected. The whole time he hasn't done anything. He came home and you tried having the conversation again. You told him, I'm exhausted. I can't keep doing everything, because you're working, you're going to school, you're taking care of the house. You're doing at least 2 people's jobs while he's practicing his video game. He has one job. He only works. There's no reason why he cannot find the time, the energy to clean the house, to do the dishes, to mow the yard, whatever. He has no excuse. He has no valid reason. You can have your hobbies. You can absolutely have your hobbies and things that you enjoy and work and still be a partner and take care of your household. There is enough time in the day. Let's see. So you came home for lunch, you told him how exhausted you were and asked for his honesty, and he finally admitted that he doesn't want to because he's tired. You're tired. That's not a reason to not get it done. No. There's 34 comments on this. It was posted 17 days ago. I know you guys are in debt, but he's in the military, so you might have good insurance. If you do, I think therapy is a great next step. Individual therapy, probably because you've developed anxiety at this point, partly as a result of his inactions and actions, the damn video games. But definitely couples therapy if it's possible, so you guys can work on your communication, expectations, because for whatever reason, he agreed to help and then didn't follow through. So I think you guys need to work on where you're at right now, how you're feeling about things, communication, expectations, and how to improve things going forward. I think therapy could really be a big help in strengthening or even maintaining your marriage if that's what you want to do. I get it. I'm doing at least 2 people's jobs, possibly 3 people's jobs all the time. I work full time. No one else cleans this house. Very rarely does anyone else cook. I have the podcast. I do this. It takes up quite a bit of time. I homeschool my child. Work, podcast, homeschool, clean the house, cook, keep people alive. Not to mention the mental load of being the only one earning money, thinking about how to pay all the bills all the time, buying groceries, all of it. One person. It's a lot. It is too much for one person, if we're being honest. I just don't sleep. I think last night I got 4 hours of sleep last night. And I think one night last week I only got 3.5 hours of sleep. And I will tell you, it sucks. I understand where you're at. I understand how you are struggling. I mean, you guys have been married. You've been married for 2 years. Like, you've moved halfway across the country together. If you are still in love, if you think there's something there to save, go to counseling. Try to save it. But if not, for all this time, he hasn't prioritized you. You've prioritized him, you've held things together, and he can't even show you that he appreciates what you've done by doing a little bit more himself. You're right, and I'm so sorry you're dealing with this. Story number 2 is coming to us from r/AITAH Unfiltered. This is a different one. Did I join this one? I did. Okay. Haven't been here for a while. AITAH for expecting parents to actually parent on a family vacation. Immediately no. I, 29 female, recently went on a beach trip with my husband, our 4 kids, my older male cousin, 42 male, his wife and their 4 kids, plus my other cousin, 36 female, her boyfriend, and her 2 sons. This is a big old group of people. I love planning trips, so before we left, I even made an itinerary and meal ideas. Everyone wanted to do their own thing, which was totally fine. What wasn't fine was that we barely saw my cousin all week. The first beach day, they said they'd come with us, but never did. Instead, they stayed in their room while her boyfriend told the boys they weren't allowed to come with us. The next day, they were suddenly allowed to go. That pretty much set the tone for the trip. While everyone else was cooking, cleaning, taking kids to the beach, fishing, and hanging out together, my cousin and her boyfriend were usually in their room or off by themselves. Her boys, however, were almost always with us. We took them to the beach, made sure they ate, included them in everything, and kept an eye on them. I don't mind helping family, but after a few days it felt less like helping and more like everyone else had quietly become responsible for their kids while they enjoyed a couple's vacation. The moment that really got me was when she casually asked if I'd taken a nap. I laughed. I have 4 kids. Not only was I taking care of mine, but I constantly felt like I was helping with everyone else's too. At one point, her older son repeatedly picked on my son in the pool. After correcting him several times, I finally stepped in and told him he'd be getting out if it continued because neither of his parents was around. She also slept through one evening while everyone else was together, and another night she and her boyfriend left around midnight to go to the beach while their boys stayed behind with the family. Checkout morning pushed me over the edge. The rest of us spent hours cleaning the Airbnb, doing laundry, packing shared items, taking out trash, and loading vehicles. My cousin came downstairs around 8:30, packed only her own things, and never offered to help with the shared cleanup. Her boyfriend sat outside in the sun until I finally asked if he planned on helping. Then I noticed their SUV was spotless. Mine was full of sand because we'd actually been hauling kids back and forth to the beach all week. I sarcastically said it made sense they didn't have sand in their car since they never really took the boys. After we got home, she texted saying she had an amazing time and thanked us for spending so much time with her boys because they looked so happy in the pictures. Honestly, that bothered me. Me too. Same here. She only knew that they were happy because she saw pictures. She was there. Of course they had a great time. The rest of us made sure they did. Even my older cousin later said it felt like everyone else was on a family vacation while they were on a separate couples getaway. I think that was their plan. Now we're talking about another family trip, but I've already decided every family will be responsible for their own kids. You got a lot of confidence right there. I would be like, the only way to make sure every family is responsible for their own kids is to make sure you don't invite this cousin, because she'll do it again. I'm also hesitant to invite her over because I don't want to end up supervising her boys again, especially when one repeatedly ignores adults. I don't necessarily think she's a bad person, but I definitely left questioning her parenting after watching this for an entire week. AITA-H for judging her as a mom, not wanting to vacation with her again, and not wanting to invite her over because I don't want to end up responsible for her kids. No, absolutely not. Let's see, that the AITA-H question at the end was in parts. Are you the asshole for judging her as a mom? No. Should we judge others? No. Do we? Yes. Yes. I judged her as a mom also. I did. So no, you're not wrong for judging her as a mom. Are you wrong for not wanting to vacation with her again? Absolutely not. She took advantage of everyone else on that trip. Are you wrong for not wanting to invite her over because you don't want to end up responsible for her kids? No, because that's already what happened. No. You're right. Her and the boyfriend, both adults, they absolutely took advantage of the situation. Those boys are so lucky to have you and all the other adults who were on that trip who took up for them, because what would they have done otherwise? They're so lucky to have all of you guys. But, and I'm glad you showed them a good time. I'm so glad. But it is so unfair because they probably went on this trip expecting that they were going to get a family vacation. They didn't. They barely saw their mom the whole time. And that's not fair. I mean, the way that your sister, or your cousin, sorry, and her boyfriend acted, like their plan might have been the whole time that they were going to have their own time because there was family who could take care of the boys. Like they were probably telling those boys, you gotta go. You gotta get out of this room. We need our space, our time. It's one thing if you planned a romantic couples getaway and arranged childcare for your children while you are on this trip. That is okay. But that is not what this was. They agreed to attend a family vacation. Everybody had kids. And then they ditched their kids with everyone else. Ditched the family vacation entirely to be by themselves. If that's what you want to do, that's fine, but you get to do that alone. And you will possibly have to pay for childcare. You might not be able to find family who's like, oh yeah, I'll keep your kids for the week while you go to the beach. They took advantage. And I think no matter what you do, if you invite them because it already worked once, because, I mean, I get it, you guys didn't feel like you had a choice. Like, the kids were literally dumped on you. You did the right thing. But if you invite her again, I think this is what it's going to be again. I think the only way it doesn't is if she ends up single. I think there's a chance, if she ends up single, that she will then go ahead and come on a family vacation and be part of it and have fun with her boys. But if her and this boyfriend are still together, no. No, she will take advantage of the situation again. There's the pictures part got me more than anything. The fact that they would just stay in the room or sit outside in the sun while they can hear everybody else cleaning and packing and doing all the legwork, and they're still chilling. You're watching 4 kids plus 2 more. Oh, did you get a nap today? No, I didn't. Here, you take 6 kids and I'll go take a nap. No, I wouldn't trust her. No, sorry. I really want to know how old this cousin is because she's acting like a mom who started in her teens or early 20s who had kids before she was ready to grow up. That's how this reads to me. Kind of feel sorry for the boys, but thankfully you guys did take care of them. Story number 3 is coming to us from r/AITH Unfiltered. AITA-H for leaving my husband's mess for him. Immediately no. Let me get this out here. I, 41 female, am married to a 41 male, and I'm lucky to be a stay-at-home mom at the moment, and my husband works in construction. I'm also endeavoring in my own little side hustle for extra income. Same. Well, not same, my husband doesn't work. Everything's fine. In my own little side hustle for extra income. That's why it's so important for you guys to subscribe so I can monetize the channels. Sorry, back to the story. And homeschooling my kids. Same. This is a lot to do. Yes. The daily routines of taking care of a 15 and 10-year-old. Mind you, they are hella smart and can do most things themselves and help when I ask. But here lately, everything except making the renovations to the house has been all on me. Every stick of it. Cleaning, cooking, side hustle, school. Not a lot of time for mom here already. He used to be amazing at picking up after himself, always trash into the trash, and he even had putting clothes in the hamper down pat before we were even together. Now he's leaving it and leaving it sit there for me to pick up. Now I thought this was getting ridiculous. We talked about it. He said he'd be more mindful of it. All things I expected him to say and come to fruition as it usually does. He's usually pretty good at keeping his words. But not this time. Once I left his laundry literally 2 feet from the hamper for a couple of days, where he left it and asks, "Why is this on the floor here?" I gave him a look and looked to the pile and then to the hamper, then back to him. You go. They're your clothes that you get to put in the hamper like you are supposed to. He didn't holler or scream, just flatly says, "Well, if I don't, it's your responsibility." No. 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 What? Was my thought. However, what came out was, "Oh, no, no, no. We're in this together. And if you want me to pick up after you, you pick up after you too." I will agree we both have a substantial load. His is work and the monetary stability, and mine is all I mentioned above. Both stressful and both rewarding at the same time. But was I really wrong after talking about it and discussing it, getting his word he'd try to come back to his former standard and not have this problem anymore, to begin to show how fed up I am, picking up his things by leaving it there? No. You're right. I don't blame you. Do I think you are going to get the desired result? No. I don't think it's going to work. Men don't work like that. I do know there are some exceptional ones out there. And you ladies, I am jealous of some of you. But for the most part, no. I don't know why he started doing this, why he essentially untrained himself. But I don't think leaving it there is going to help, especially when he's just like, "If I don't do it, it's your responsibility," which is wrong. I would love for you guys to have a conversation and come back and tell us why he thinks that. Is it because you're the stay-at-home mom? No, you're the stay-at-home mom. You're not a maid. You're a mom, you're a wife. You're an entrepreneur. You are not a maid. Picking up after him is not your responsibility. Picking up after your children was your responsibility until they became old enough to do it themselves. Picking up after him was never your responsibility because he is a grown adult. You're right. You're right for being fed up. You're right for giving him an attitude. He's wrong. I just don't think it's gonna work. I've tried this. Dishwasher, right beside the sink. No cabinets in between, right beside the sink. Husband, my kid. He's 7. He puts his dishes in the sink. He puts his dishes in the dishwasher. Husband continually puts his dishes in the sink. So one week, I left it. And I already knew better because one time this man left dishes in the sink until there were maggots at the bottom. I kid you not. But last year, I decided it's right there. There's no reason. So I would get my dishes, and he was littler then, so I get my dishes and my son's dishes out of the sink and put them in the dishwasher. I left off his dishes. He got mad, and he decided there were things that he wouldn't do then if I wasn't going to do that. And I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was mowing the grass or fixing stuff. Something I couldn't do. I don't remember. But it didn't work. He still puts his dishes in the sink. They can't be retrained. If they don't, you can't change someone until they decide to change for themselves. Someone has to want to change. They have to have their own reasons to change. No amount of just not doing it because they don't care if it's not done. If he cared if his clothes were in the hamper, he would have put them in the hamper. He doesn't care where they're at. Does he still expect a clean house where he doesn't have to walk around his clothes? Yes. But he doesn't care enough to do it himself. And unfortunately, the harsh treatment, the leaving it doesn't help. It's going to pile up. I'm also sorry for you. Man, I'm getting kind of depressed here. Where are we at? Okay. Let's find a palette cleanser. Story number 4, if I kept count right, is coming to us from r/random acts of kindness. A lady paid for my water bottle out of nowhere, and it made my whole day. Please read. So I had a break at work and headed to a near supermarket, just walking around, and decided to grab a bottle of water and went to check out. There was a lady with maybe 25 items on the cashier belt. The cashier was finishing up with another customer. A guy with a full cart who was behind the woman told me to go before him. So now I'm between the lady and the guy. I put my water bottle at the end of the belts and was waiting for my turn. The lady turned briefly and saw my water bottle and told me, "Why didn't you tell me you only had one item? I should have let you go first." I smiled and told her that it's okay and I'm not in a rush. So then I was looking at my watch and I see her extending her arm with my water bottle. She handed it to me and said, "Enjoy." Turns out she asked the cashier to scan it and handed it to me so I can leave early. I thanked her so much, I was surprised, and then headed out. Oh my goodness, how sweet of her. She made me so happy. It's a simple gesture, but meant so much. It's a reminder for me to keep doing little nice things because I never know who might be having a shitty day, and a simple thing could turn their day around. Such a sweet lady. I almost wanted to cry. And she wasn't an old lady or anything, just a sweet person. I love that one. Yes. The first comment says, "Oh, that's neat. Thanks for sharing." Yeah, I mean, that's it. It wasn't something she had to do. It was so kind and thoughtful. I love that she did that for you. I'm sure she would do that for anyone at any random time. Um, this sounds like just a sweet, thoughtful person. I'm glad you had that experience. Okay, that is 4 stories for this week's episode of Was I in the Wrong? Thank you so much for being here for another episode of the Misty Morrison podcast. Remember, start each day with a grateful heart. Kindness changes everything, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.